Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I think it will be a small group of us today, so nice and cozy.
Hi.
Hi, Barb. All right, it is time, so just conscious that we might make a start. Thank you all for joining us today. This will be the information session for the AIIP Awards 2026. So let me share my slides. Presenter mode. Can you all see that okay?
Yep, thank you.
No. Yep, thanks, Barb. All right, so hello everyone. My name is Leisha, and today on behalf of the awards committee task force, Barb and I are here to share a little bit about the awards for the upcoming year with you. So I would like to start by acknowledging that I'm presenting in Zoom teamsing in from the lands of the Wurundjeri people here in Narb, Melbourne. And I pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and any First Nations persons in the room today. So the purpose of this year's awards really is, like the past years, to celebrate the excellence, the leadership, and the innovation in this field. It's really exciting that it's been a few years now, and we would like to, again, I think, have a platform to showcase the people, the programs, and this year, quite excitingly, the research that's driving or that's emerging in this space. And also, I think another key piece for this year is that we wanted to advocate and showcase, I suppose, the Australian Intergenerational Minimum Standards that has been developed and published earlier this year. That's a really handy resource that I think will be useful for a lot of us. So we thought it's a good place to use it as part of the awards process as well. In line with that, we did have the professional development webinar on the development of these standards presented by Annika and Barb. And that's, if you're a member, that's actually in your members area. The recording is uploaded there. So that's something you can go back and have a watch on, which I highly recommend, especially whether or not you are applying for the awards. That's a really good one to get across, to get a nice insight into the standards. So this year we have 3 exciting awards. The Intergenerational Innovation and Contribution Award, which is the Program Award, the Practitioner Award, and we also have a Research Excellence Award. So I'll tell you a little bit about each of them now. The first one is the Program Award, and this is what similar to what we had last year. To be eligible for this award, you would be an intergenerational program that is delivered within Australia, that is structured, meaning it's planned and delivered. It's purposefully designed to provide benefits to both generations. It's research-based, so based on evidence evaluated, or at least within the program itself. Doesn't have to be research per se, but at least evaluated. And it is a current and ongoing program, so not one's off in the past. So you have to be a member of the AIIP, and if if you are were awardee or nominee in previous years, you can apply again. But just to say that this is based on the last 12 months of work, so you will have to refresh your application. Here, I wanted to pop this in because this is one of the additional questions that we are utilizing for the program application. So if you're applying for the first award, you will see that we ask you to rank your program based on the Kaplan levels of engagement. There are 7 levels on this scale, from 1 to 7, 1 being sort of the most superficial level of engagement, where you're just learning, where your participants are just learning about the other generation, to level 7, where it really is an embedded, ongoing intergenerational community. And this scale, or this table here, is uploaded to the website, so you can download that and have a good look at what each level is and how you would categorize your program as. The second award is the Intergenerational Practitioner Award, and this is obviously for an individual, someone who is in the space, who is facilitating and practicing in the intergenerational space. So you have to be currently involved in implementing and sustaining intergenerational practice in the last 12 months. You must work within Australia with contributing benefiting local communities, and demonstrate active engagement with intergenerational practice, as well as commitment to professional development in the field. And that might be coming to professional development webinars like this one and the other ones in this series, and learning about what's emerging research or emerging practice in other programs, or doing the Joy courses. Showcasing leadership and innovation, again, being an AIIP member, and if you previously put in an application, and it wouldn't be last year, that's a typo, my bad, but the year before, if you've applied as the Intergenerational Practitioner Award, you can apply again. Again, based on the last 12 months of work. So for both the first and second award, the program and the practitioner award, we have the same question, or same question that we ask you to respond to, and that we will assess. And that is, how well does your program or your practice meet the Australian Intergenerational Minimum Standards? So there are 10 of them, and we ask that you choose up to 5 of these particular standards and write a response of up to 300 words each. So what are these standards in particular? Again, I would point you to the recording that Annika and Barb presented on to really get a nice in-depth deep dive into each of the standards. Basically, these are the 10 standards that were established as part of the minimum standards. So the first one being that it is reciprocal, second one being that it promotes social cohesion, standard 3, preventing and challenging age discrimination and stereotyping, standard 4, building mutually beneficial, interdependent and ongoing relationships, standard 5, meeting principles of good program management, standard 6, evaluation, having evaluation as part of the practice and program, standard 7 is on the intergenerational practitioners, demonstrating values, beliefs, and attitudes that influence their behaviors, including commitment for their education. Standard 8, about intergenerational equity. Standard 9, the intergenerational spaces, facilitating comfort, safety, and choice. And standard 10 is around leadership and having that longer term planning, succession planning and training for continuity and sustainability. So that's a really brief overview of what this 10 standards are. Barb, did you want to say anything else?
No, I think, as I said, it's the standards are there to encourage people to continue or even to start their journey in intergenerational practice. So it's really, I think it would be really valuable for you to have a copy of the standards and to just assess it against yourself, see where you're going with that. And it's not that we're looking in the awards for people who are necessarily achieving all of these things or have great outcomes. What we want to know is that you're evaluating yourself and understanding the best practice outcomes, and that's where you're heading.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Barb. So yeah, in specific or in particular relation to the awards responses. Like Barb said, responding specifically to those chosen standards.
Mm.
And we also would like for you to have some additional supporting material. I think this is where you can get creative and just not just with the written response and the words, but if you would like to demonstrate and reflect the essence or the impacts of your program through more creative methods or through the words of others, this is somewhere you can put that in. So you might put in some web pages that showcase the work that you've done, or videos and photos, as well as articles or testimonials. So anything that you feel reflects your written responses and showcases the excellence of your practice and your programs. Great. So we've asked you to do up to 3. And I have a note here just making sure this will be reviewed by a judging panel. So just making sure that you have the necessary permissions in place to share any of the materials.
Mm.
And then the third award that we have this year is the Research Excellence Award. This is something that we're hoping to explore and see because there is a growing body of research in the intergenerational space. So we would like to, it's a little bit of an experiment for us as well to see if there's interest. I think there is, this arm of the organization is really growing. But if you're working within Australia, if you're at any career stage as a researcher, you don't have to be a professor. You can be a PhD student as part of a research team. And if you are doing intergenerational practice-focused research with your data collection completed in the last 2 years, this is more than the last 12 months because we do understand that research takes a while to be published and there are a lot of processes. So if you've collected your data in the last 2 years, that's wonderful and great, and that you are an AIIP member as well, or at least one member of your research if you're a research team. So the assessment criteria for the Research Excellence Award is slightly different. It's still in relation to the minimum standards though. We would like you to talk about the significance of your research in relation to the minimum standards. So choosing which minimum standards are the primary focus of your research. It might be a single one, it might be 3, but just really making sure there is that key focus. Choosing 5 or 8 or 10 is probably a little bit ambitious. And then explaining the research problem and the aim in the context of the selected standards, addressing the significance, the breadth, and the implication of your research to those chosen standards. Research performance is a very academic thing, but any outcomes and outputs of your research, including grant applications, publications, student supervision that you've done, research impact. So this is within and beyond academia. So if you have any awards, presentations you've done with the AIIP and beyond, policy impacts to industry, conferences, community, media, all that sort of impact, we would love to see that. And evidence of collaboration and interdisciplinarity, I think that's something that's really unique to intergenerational work, is that there's a lot of interdisciplinarity. So showing how you've done that in your research and how you've collaborated with external partners in industry as well. And then research integrity, so just making sure that you showcase that your research is ethical and responsible, and which I think most researchers should be across. So that's the research award. So just some additional tips for your application. Try to address the criteria and respond to the prompts that we've asked as well as you can. That is what we will score it against. And then keeping your 300 words for each response can be a lot or not so much. So try to keep your responses concise and to the point, by being selective about your examples, your evidence, and definitely take advantage of those additional supporting material to reflect your practice. So that's the 3 awards. What we have also prepared is a showcase of last year's award winners, CrossGen from Wollongong, and they very kindly agreed to be a part of this special webinar that will be on the 9th of October, where they will talk about their amazing program, but also give you a bit of insights and tips to how they prepared their award application last year. So that will be a good one to attend if you're interested. This is us, the little awards task force, acknowledging Barb, Mark, and Christy. And so awards are open. We are open. We are receiving awards. It's been a long day. But please visit the website. You can scan that QR code or head straight to the Aiip website. It's under events where you'll find all the information, all the rubrics, and anything you need in relation to your responses and your applications. It will be open till the 31st of October. So you've got a little bit more time to work on them. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I've put the event email address there. So if you have anything you want to clarify, feel free to reach out.
Can I just add, the awards committee are not necessarily the judging committee. So we do reach out to get a very broad range of people throughout Australia and sometimes overseas to assist us with the applications, so that it's not, so that it presents as a very fair process.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thanks, Barb. Yes, it's a big team and people with the relevant experience as well, who will be assessing the responses and the application. So that's really great. And also just to say how it will work in terms of the timeline is we will close applications end of October. We will send them for reviewing, and then we will announce the finalists. We'll inform the finalists before Christmas so that you're aware, and because we will be announcing them at the Aiip conference in February next year. We would love if you can attend that. So that's the timeline. And I know it's a bit of a short one for you to make plans to attend, but we would really appreciate your attendance. Yeah, Barb, anything else?
No, I just think, again, to remind everyone that sometimes, particularly in the work that we do, we're not necessarily, most of us probably aren't doing it looking for accolades, but on the other hand, receiving acknowledgement for the hard work that you and your team do is also really important. And it also showcases for the rest of Australia the incredible work that is being done in intergenerational space, which of course adds to all of our representation to government about why they should spend more money in making this something for the future. So try to put aside your feelings of self-worth, which sometimes we don't want to put on a pedestal, but please enter, please give it a go, because we're not, as I said, we're not looking for people who can, make the best application. We're looking for the people whose programs are worthy of being in the spotlight.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Barb. Yes, I think that there are a lot of people in this space who are very humble people.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah. So yes, please do that. And we are, as a task force, we are also working to increase our communications with the award. So we would love to have a blog post and social media posts and communications on our finalists and the winner, and having that platform to showcase your work, having case studies to do policy briefs and all of that would be, part of the bigger agenda, to put intergenerational practice forward. So I'll stop sharing there and see if we have any questions. Casey, yes, so the recording of this information session will be up, and I think we can definitely also upload the slides to the website. So our wonderful Lydia, I will work with her to make that possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Are there any other questions at this point? Otherwise, I mean, I think things might come up, when you start preparing your applications. And as I said, feel free to shoot us an email if you need to clarify anything. We are here to support the process, and we look forward to receiving your applications.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.